For me, the Olympics is everything. I've spent the last 18 months terrified that the Olympics were going to be cancelled. I fully understand why people have concerns. I share the same concerns. I'm very confident that the IOC will be able to deliver a safe Games. Now that all spectators have been cancelled, I think that takes out an enormous element of unknown. We feel that the Olympics is so important, not just to us, but to global audiences and to global inspiration, that we are willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that the Games go ahead safely.
Traveling is difficult at any time, even more so with a horse. Tell us about your long journey to Japan and all the extra complications due to the pandemic.
Well, this is now my third Olympic cycle. Traveling with horses internationally involves quarantines, health certificates, everything that the global human population is starting to come to terms with COVID. Horses have had to do for international travel for a long time. I'm supposed to have left already for Germany. My teammates are all quarantining in Aachen. I should be there with them, but due to COVID regulations in Germany, it has been quite unclear for a number of weeks leading up to this point whether I would be able to join them, being based in the UK. And quite recently, we made the decision that it would be safest and easiest if I quarantined at home. My horses quarantined at the stables. And so basically, my horses will drive to Liège, Belgium, to catch the flight on the 20th, and we'll meet. The horse that I take will meet his teammates, and I'm flying on the 18th, and we'll meet my teammates in Tokyo. So the logistics have been interesting.
Now, you mentioned, of course, horses in the plural form there. You qualified with two horses, Don Geniro and Spike, but you can only bring one to the Olympics. When are you going to make the final decision, and how?
To be honest, I really should have made the decision by now. I'm normally a very decisive person, and I normally trust my instincts. The problem I have at the moment is my instinct is telling me that these two horses, Spike and Don, there's really not much between them. They're both in great form, they both feel great, and they both really deserve to go. But it is giving me a bit of a headache at the moment, deciding which one to take. Day to day, one horse, I'll get on and ride, one horse will feel, Don feels great today. And then the next day I'll get on Spike and Spike feels great today. So it is almost giving me some sleepless nights, and I am a good sleeper. Everybody around the whole world has been disrupted and affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Competitions and training over the last 18 months, 2 years have been quite inconsistent. The usual competitions that we've relied on in the spring, Chatsworth, Bramham, have been cancelled and replacement competitions have been put on. It's been extremely difficult to plan and make a schedule for your horses' competitions. I think in some ways we've been quite lucky in the UK. The horrible EHV outbreak that happened at the beginning of this year in Europe didn't cross the channel. So we've had a relatively undisrupted year this year.
Good. Well, I guess it's the same playing field, as you say. Everybody is affected in the same way, and just the lack of competition time for athletes, horses, everybody is going to be a major factor, of course. Now, continuing...
Yeah, totally. And it's been quite interesting, actually. It's the same for teams. There's only so much training you can do as a football team. You have to... Part of your training is the friendly matches, the match practice. And without that match practice, you can't put into effect what you've been working on. It's very much the same for horses and for that horse-rider partnership and team. We rely on the competitions as a part of our preparation for championships like the Olympics, in terms of putting into place some of the last bits and pieces between horse and rider in our partnership, but also in terms of getting the horse relaxed and settled and confident in an atmosphere and with lots of distractions going on around the arena. And it'll be very interesting to see how no spectators in the stadium at the Olympics itself will affect the horses.
Now again, something else you've already mentioned a little bit, but I want to ask more directly. What exactly are your hopes and expectations for these games? What do you hope you and your teammates take away from Tokyo?
From the team perspective, we're looking to have a future-building result. I think for us, we are still very inexperienced at this level as a team. And so I think being realistic, our aim is to complete, our aim is to finish, and build confidence for the future. And also to demonstrate to other riders in China that it is worth taking that step, taking that risk of traveling out of China to compete at this global level. For me, I never try to come into these things with set expectations, except for hoping both myself and the horse of the partnership feel like we come away from the games having tried our hardest.